The world's craziest prison escape. A fun video.
July 1st, 2018, 9:20 a.m. A high-security prison south of Paris, one of the largest, most modern, and most secure detention centers in France. Hundreds of guards, massive.
You know what I always liked about Fern is, right? The animations are so good. Like, even this was a year ago, right? But even still, the animations are okay. Well, they're not that good.
Modern
but
and most secure detention centers in France. Hundreds of guards, massive 17-foot walls lined with barbed wire and armored doors. The courtyards are covered with anti-helicopter netting. On all four watchtowers, snipers with assault rifles.
You think people try to escape this prison with helicopters? Like get people down there, quickly grab but even then there's like bars and guards. Do you think the guards have like snipers?
Stand at the ready. In solitary confinement cell 207, inmate number 00-10189 waits to be escorted to a visiting room.
Is this the one where the guy? Because I remember seeing a video like 10 years ago, literally like a decade ago. There was a guy who squeezed out of his prison cell through a window that was like this big. He had a special thing where he could conform his bones and stuff, and you can squeeze out the cell.
He is the most heavily guarded prisoner in the country. He was involved in at least 30 robberies, some including hostages, one involving a cash and transit heist that led to the death of a police officer. Twice, he slipped away from the police right at the scene of the crime. And 5 years ago, in 2013, he pulled off a spectacular escape from another high-security prison, using a smuggled gun and explosives to blast his way out.
He's explosive.
Two guards unlock his cell to pat him down. They do find something suspicious, but it's just a pack of gum. The guards like him, despite his staggering record of high-stakes crimes. He's easygoing, funny, and likable. It's almost like he's perfectly comfortable here, behind bars.
I don't know about that. I mean, he literally already escaped.
20 miles away, 65-year-old flight instructor Stéphane Bay welcomes two new students, Frédéric and Julien, father and son. They're both hyped for their...
You know what this reminds me of? Because he says he's got two pilot students. This reminds me of the GTA mission, the Leicester mission, where you have to break out that guy from prison. You take him on a plane.
They say they just want to tag along and watch him fly, not pilot themselves, but they do request it to be on board the Alouette 2, a vintage collector's model from the 1950s. The pair have been marveling at it because it just looks so pretty.
That helicopter looks...
The pair have been
Is it the animation or just this helicopter doesn't look...
marveling at it because it just looks so pretty. Something feels sketchy. Stéphane will later recall that he thought they were wearing wigs.
Stéphane.
But hey, money is money, right? They paid 500 euros.
Those two were on board with it. And then he's just a pilot taking him on a tour, and they're gonna hijack the helicopter. Damn.
In cash, up front. Back in jail, the prisoner is escorted to the visitor's block.
Yeah, two random guys say, "Oh, we just want to go on your helicopter for a ride." They give you 500 euro cash, and they're wearing wigs. Like, come on,
for
bro.
high-risk inmates. It's situated as far away from the prison entrance as possible. Prison management has been on edge for a while, noticing a change in the inmate's behavior. He's received more visits and seemed to be sending coded messages during phone calls. His casual vibe with the guards could be a tactic to extract useful intel. A couple of days ago, a drone was spotted scouting the facility from above. Stéphane is waiting for his students on an open field. He has landed on the clearing because they said they needed to stop to pee. They stepped out and disappeared behind some trees. When they return, they're armed. They claim to know his
family. See what I mean? They both needed to pee and they both went in a bush and you couldn't see them. Well, both of them. And the guards didn't think that the inmate being friendly isn't suspicious.
Family and his home address.
Whatever.
They say they have been watching him for months, and that their accomplices are waiting at his house as they speak. If he doesn't do exactly as they say, his family dies. They'll tell him where to fly next. On the visitor side of booth number 50, the inmate's older brother is waiting to see his sibling. He has no idea that his little brother is about to pull off the most spectacular prison break in French history.
Well, he probably didn't know. Yeah, these are animations from a year ago. Yeah, looking at friends' videos now the videos or the animations have got so much better. Fan production. Yo, what's up? What's up? What are we? ZQ. Craziest prison escape of all time.
The prisoner calmly waiting for his helicopter ride is Redouane Faïd. He's the country's most infamous criminal. He's also a best-selling author, a movie buff and adrenaline junkie, and to many in France's immigrant suburbs, he's also a legend. But to understand all this, we need to go back to the beginning. 1978, a suburb near Paris. This is 6-year-old Redouane. He's still in kindergarten, browsing through a newly opened store with his brother, who's 2 years older than him. There's not a single thing in this shop the two could afford. Their parents are Algerian immigrants. The father works in a factory.
I was going to say,
cleans houses.
It's in France and Redouane Faïd.
At home, the boys shared a cramped 3-room apartment with 9 other siblings. The social housing block is surrounded by wealthy suburbs, full of wealthy French kids. Redouane and his brother do not fit the mold, and the store detective makes sure they know it. He calls them petite merguez, a racial slur for Algerian immigrants. But other than that, he doesn't really pay attention to them. Out in the parking lot, the brothers divide up their haul. It's Redouane's first...
Let me message my... What was that said? Petite merguez. Let me message my Algerian friend. Petite... merguez. I message my Algerian friend, Petite Merguez. Let's see what he says.
A racial slur for Algerian immigrants. But other than that, he doesn't really pay attention to them. Out in the parking lot, the brothers divide up their haul. It's Redouane's first theft ever.
Well, they stole
a couple
biscuits.
Of weeks later, he gets caught. His parents are furious, and his father whips him 20 times with a belt.
20 times.
His mother makes him promise he will never steal.
You know, people always complain, like in the Western or like here, the white people complain like, oh, you're showing haircuts. Like, realistically, it's the best thing, right? Realistically, it's gonna discipline them the most. Like, if you tell them don't do it again, they'll probably just do it again. But if I take something from the shop and then your dad it just hits you, realistically, you're not going to take from the shop again.
Around this time, Redouane discovers the world of film, especially French crime thrillers and American gangster movies. He watches them on repeat, memorizes entire scenes, and acts them out at home for his family. By his teens, stealing isn't just survival anymore, it's a way of life. He and his friends swipe TVs, stereos, VCRs, car radios, and computers. They use the money to buy Adidas sneakers and flashy tracksuits. But more than anything,
the full Adidas tracksuit, that's the most Algerian fit. They always wear that in
Russia. They go to the movies, again and again. Then, at 18 years old, Redouane commits his first bank robbery. He walks in armed, holds the bank employee at gunpoint, and threatens her with a line straight from the French crime film, Marine. Shut up, do what I tell you. I've got nothing against you. I only want the money. Think of your children. After the robbery, he simply goes back to school and studies for his high school exams. There's no one to scold him anymore at home. His father has moved back to Algeria, and his mother is dying of leukemia. He'll later write in his autobiography that, from that moment on, he stopped caring. He'll later write in his autobiography, and his mother is dying of leukemia. He'll later write in his autobiography that, from that moment on, he stopped caring. Redouane Faïd's crimes are getting bigger, and they seem to be directly inspired by American action films. During a heist,
when was this? Because he just got away with bank robbery. It's like, surely this must have been like, what, 19... When was this based?
Taking a bank director and his family hostage. They are wearing rubber masks with the faces of famous politicians, just like Patrick Swayze in Point Break.
Big fan of the
Everyone
vids,
even
bro.
delivers a line
Appreciate
from
you,
the
bro.
movie when they leave the scene.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and please don't forget to vote!
In another hostage situation 2 years later, Faid and his men show up in sharp black suits in homage to Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. They even adopt the thing with the color-coded aliases.
Mr. White, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Blue, Mr. Orange, Mr. Pink.
But this time the job goes sideways and they have to flee from the cops, just like in the movie.
Just like in the
However,
movie.
all these spectacular crimes still don't seem enough for Faid. One of his all-time favorite gangster films is Michael Mann's Heat, and after watching it over and over again, he sets himself a new goal: the holy grail of robbery, armored trucks.
Armored trucks. Anyone else used to rob them trucks in free mode in GTA 5?
The holy grail
Or
of
the
robbery,
sticky bomb at the back.
armored trucks.
Oh,
An
is this what GTA is based off? When he
Industrial
stole
area
from
on the outskirts of Paris.
1997.
Faid is behind the
Let's
wheel
see.
of a Renault. He spots his target, a 6-ton armored truck with 3 armed guards inside, and slams his car straight into
He
it.
rams it.
Within seconds, 2 more cars appear, blocking the truck from the front and back. 5 men in hockey masks jump out.
Bro, hockey.
AK-47.
This is literally GTA, bro. That's crazy. When GTA, they got the dump truck and they rammed it. But this is literally GTA. And I knew that it was based on this. That's
Sevens in
crazy.
hand, just like in the movie Heat. They surround the truck, moving fast. One of them slaps an explosive-looking package onto the windshield. The guards step out and surrender. Faid and his crew start emptying the truck. But there's a problem. It's simply too much cash.
We're watching
Moving the money out takes way
watching
too long.
the world's craziest prison escape.
After just 3 minutes, police are on the scene. Gunfire erupts. Faid takes a bullet to the shoulder. He does manage to escape with his crew, but he has lost blood on the crime scene. Now the police have his DNA and start to investigate his identity. And if they catch him, he's looking at 15 years behind bars.
He killed the officer.
Stefan Bai and his 2 captors land for a second time. The hijackers have 2 more men waiting on the ground. They hold
Make me an admin. Yeah, I got you, bro. How'd I do it? How'd I make you a mod? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to use this Twitch thing. Hold on. Mod, there you go. You should be a mod now. Appreciate you for watching. Oh, wait.
large black duffel bags into the helicopter. One of them climbs in, all dressed in black, hood pulled over his head. The hijackers have 2 more men waiting on the ground. They haul
Okay,
large
so
black
back to
duffel bags
present
into
time.
the helicopter. One of them climbs in, all dressed in black, hood pulled over his head. Stefan
good,
is held at
bro.
gunpoint the entire time. Now he is ordered to take off again. He flips the ignition switches and presses the starter, but nothing happens. The kidnappers think he's trying to outsmart them and start freaking out. They beat and threaten him. If he doesn't do as they say, his family dies. Stefan manages to convince them that he really needs to step out to check the wiring. Finally, the engine roars back to life. They take off again. The hijackers are well prepared. The duffel bags are packed with tear gas, smoke grenades, masks,
They're gonna raid the prison.
AK-47s, and an angle grinder. And so the heli thunders towards the high-security prison, where Redouane Faid is sitting calmly in visiting room 50, chatting away with his older brother. Hands down, this really is the kind of stuff you'd expect in a Hollywood blockbuster. But say you're in the US and can't stream this French crime thriller due to geo restrictions. Enter CyberGhost VPN, an accent or is 4% free with a...
No ads.
Back to Redouane Faid in prison. How did he land there in the first place? 20 years
Catch
earlier,
Faid
the
if you can.
Movenpick Hotel in Basel. An employee enters a room to prepare
Going
for the
back to
next guest.
1998.
She has no idea she is not alone. Redouane Faïd has been hiding there for over 3 hours. Outside, the police are searching for him across the entire city. A few hours earlier, Faïd was arrested on a train heading from Germany to France. German federal police took him into custody. He had been hiding abroad for months. But when the officers escort him off the train, he manages to break free. He runs straight across the tracks to shake the cops. A train roars in and blocks the officers from following. He jumps several meters down and twists his ankle, so now he's limping. Somehow he makes it to the back entrance of the Movenpick Hotel and sneaks inside.
Yeah, but
He
YouTube,
finds
yeah,
several
yeah.
open doors.
I'm gonna post like VODs and stuff on YouTube. It's just if you type in ADJ to Polish, it should come up. It's in my TikTok bio and my IG bio.
Since the cleaning staff are still working. He needs to get out of here somehow. He thinks about calling a contact in Strasbourg, but he doesn't
What's
have
up
a
now?
phone.
Appreciate you, bro.
So what now? There's a payphone right outside the hotel, but he also doesn't have any coins. He calmly approaches the receptionist to ask if she can give him some change for a bill. She places the coins in front of him, which leads to another problem. His hands are still cuffed. What if she notices and calls the police? Faïd keeps it cool, acts like he's casually reading a promo post, notices, which leads
So
to
what
if she can
happened?
give him, but he also doesn't have any coins. So what now? There's a payphone right outside the hotel,
Oh, he's in cuffs,
but he also
he
doesn't have any
escaped.
coins.
Okay.
He calmly approaches the receptionist to ask if she can give him some change for a bill. She places the coins in front of him, which leads to another problem. His hands are still cuffed. What if she notices and calls the police? Faïd keeps it cool, acts like he's casually reading a promo poster behind the desk. The moment the receptionist turns away, he quickly scoops up the coins. The first call fails, and he disappears onto the hotel rooftop
Yeah,
to hide
hit
for
him with the what's over there? What's over there
couple of
type
hours.
shit.
He tries again, turns around, and finds himself surrounded by 20 police officers.
There you go, cool.
The next day, Faïd is at the hospital with 2 officers to have his ankle checked. He seems to be in serious pain, but that's just an act. In a fraction of a second, he drops his crutches and snatches a gun from one of the officers. He trained in Krav Maga during his time in Israel, a super efficient military combat technique designed for fast defense and brutal disarmament. Before the second officer can react, Faïd drives his elbow into his face. The officer drops, and Faïd takes his gun too. Then he runs, as fast as he can,
You just took down 2 people in 2 swings. It's
the
Jackie
second
Chan,
time
bro.
in 24 hours. You would think a guy like that would be watched extra closely
Escaped
in
twice.
jail. At 11:18 a.m., this prison guard hears a strange noise. A low hum or buzzing sound coming from outside. To her, it sounds like a leaf blower. Weird, she thinks. The
This
gardeners
is
are not supposed to
2018.
work
This is
on
not even that long ago.
Sundays.
I would have
Well,
I would have seen
it's
this
not a
on the
leaf
news.
blower. But the
It's a
facility
helicopter.
is prepared for this. This sentinel receives an urgent order over the radio: unseal. The same thing happens on other watchtowers. Each one is equipped with a special case. The guard has to break the seal to open it. Inside is an HK G36 assault rifle. He grabs it and takes aim.
HK.
The helicopter just keeps descending. The prison yards are covered with anti-helicopter netting. Flying in here would be a suicide mission. But this is not a random helicopter. It's a 60-year-old vintage model, just small enough to slip through this unsecured gap in the last one of the prison yards.
So what? Okay, so what's the point of the netting if it has holes in it that the helicopter can fit through? Like they equipped this netting specifically for helicopters, but there's just a big hole where the
So
helicopter
this
can
is
still
not a
go
regular
through.
landing. In fact, they're not touching down at all. Redouane Faïd must have known somehow that prison guards are not allowed to shoot at a flying helicopter. There's a proper protocol for this. And maybe he also knew that Stéphane Baye is one of the few pilots
They're
in
not
all
allowed to
France
shoot at
who are
flying
skilled in
helicopters. That's crazy. I mean, it makes sense because realistically, right? The helicopter, if you shoot at the helicopter, it crashes. It can like fly into a building, kill several more people. Or the camera just like, but it makes sense. So
enough
he
to pull
did
this
land.
off, to keep this specific type of vintage heli steady enough while hovering above the ground. Investigators will later discover that Faïd had been writing letters to Stéphane's stepdaughter for 2 entire years. And this friendship was not Fayid's only connection to the outside world, because at this point, Redouane Fayid was already a star.
Slumdog Millionaire.
October 2010, 12 years after his escape in Basel, 8 years before his helicopter prison break, Redouane Fayid sits in a French talk show.
So what happened in 2018? After that, he escaped, and where is he now? I guess we're good. And how is he just freely walking around in 2010 when he escaped?
Bonjour Redouane Fayid.
Bonjour.
Les banques, vous en avez braqué combien en tout?
Alors, officiellement, j'en ai braqué qu'une, hein, puisque j'étais condamné que pour une banque. On m'a soupçonné d'en avoir braqué une trentaine, hein, mais bon, ça, c'est que des dires et des racontars.
He's a welcome guest at the time, a bit of a sensation even. Redouane Fayid has written a book about his cinematic crimes, so now he's making the rounds on French TV to promote it.
C'est terrible de dire ça, mais le cinéma a été pour moi un mode d'emploi pour braquer.
Et on voyait ça un petit peu, l'attaque de fourgon blindé en ligne de mire. Pourquoi? Parce que quand tu attaques un fourgon blindé, c'est le top des tops.
The caption on screen reads, former gangster. Well, not so long ago, he was anything but. In late 1998, 3 months after his escape in Basel, Fayid was caught and sentenced to 18 years in jail for armed robbery.
Why is this video keep going back and forth?
He was granted parole for good behavior after just under 9 years. Now he presents himself as a changed man, as someone who has learned his lesson.
La vie de bandit, c'est que de la vie de merde. Vous savez, vous faites souffrir tout le monde. Quand vous allez en prison, c'est une sanction carrément qui est collective parce que votre famille, votre femme, vos enfants, vos frères, vos sœurs, vos parents, tout le monde paye.
He got married. His brother has landed him an office job. He appears to be taking it easy now. At one point, he attends a film event where Michael Mann is physically present, the director of Heat, the very film that inspired his biggest heist.
Goes meeting the guy?
Moi, personnellement, je suis un ancien gangster. Malheureusement, je m'en vante pas. Je viens de faire une dizaine d'années de prison. J'ai attaqué des fourgons blindés, des bijouteries.
Imagine acting in a film, right? Let's say you act in a gangster film, right? As a crime. Let's say, for example, Dexter, right? Let's say you're Michael C. Hall, right? You're Dexter. And then everything you do in the series, like cling film and kill killers, and then you have a guy that's literally doing the same thing, copying you, and then you meet him, like, that must be crazy, bro.
Et je leur ai répondu que non. J'avais un conseiller technique, un prof de fac, une sorte de mentor, et il s'appelle Michael Mann. Alors ma question en fait, elle est simple, c'est est-ce qu'il a conscience qu'il y ait des gangsters qui puissent s'inspirer de son cinéma? Parce que moi ça m'est arrivé.
Fayid addresses Mann directly. Michael Mann looks amused, but also a bit uncomfortable. He doesn't know what to say.
Thank you for that. I don't know how to respond.
I wouldn't know what
In
to say.
another talk show stint, Fayid is asked if he thinks he could ever relapse.
Ah non, moi mes démons, vous savez, hein, ils sont morts, ils sont pas endormis.
That's a bold-faced lie, because at this point, he's already back to committing crimes. And not just petty theft, but a crime so shocking it will shake the entire country.
What do you do?
May 20th, 2010, Créteil,
Also,
a
so
suburb
he escaped from custody, and then
southeast of
what? They
downtown
just let
Paris.
him go.
2 officers are on routine patrol, Thierry M. and his partner Aurélien Fouquet.
When he escaped in 1998, he escaped.
6 years
and just
old. She became a mother just a year ago. For them, it's just another day on the job. But then they get a call from the National Police. They're told to head to the A4 highway exit. Some criminals are on the run in a white van. They pull up at an intersection with flashing lights and blaring sirens. They have no idea what they're about to get into. These men had a plan to rob an armored cash truck carrying 16 million euros. But 30 minutes ago,
16 million euros in one cash truck. When I blow up the GTA cash trucks, they have like 3K maybe in them. 16 million.
Traffic stop turned their heist into a high-speed, all-out chase with the police. Now they've crashed and need a new getaway car. But at that exact moment, the 2 patrol officers arrive. The gang doesn't hesitate to open fire. The windshield of the patrol car alone is pierced by 16 bullets.
Bro, did you...
Fouquet
What, so they
is
just
hit
lined
multiple
out
times.
the police?
The gunmen flee. Fouquet is rushed to the hospital. And by the end of the day, she is dead.
She's dead.
The murder of Aurélie Fouquet sends shockwaves throughout the entire country. At her funeral, thousands of police officers stand in mourning. Among them is French President Nicolas Sarkozy. He posthumously awards her a Medal of Honor and delivers a promise. He will do everything it takes to find out who did it.
Les meurtriers d'Aurélie Fouquet, je le dis devant son cercueil, seront punis avec la sévérité qu'exige l'ignominie de leur crime.
Where he just allows lootings to happen, and the capital city to be infested with rats.
When Faïd feels safe, so safe he keeps telling his gangster stories on camera. Here he is in a documentary. The film recounts how Fouquet was gunned down, and then Redouane Faïd appears, not as a suspect, not as a fugitive, but as an expert on this kind of heist. At the time, the filmmakers had no idea that the man sitting in front of them had a part in the killing of Aurélie Fouquet. The failed attack on the armored car.
Also, I must say to the person watching, that's still watching, because you've been watching the whole time. If I ever do get big, I'll remember you. I'll make sure. QWERB-ZY2.
Cash truck has Faïd's signature all over it, but he has an airtight alibi, and he swears he was not involved. But investigators keep digging and eventually find compelling surveillance footage. A security camera has caught Faïd inside the white van used by the criminals. Faïd was not on the scene when the shots were fired, but police gather enough evidence to pin him down as the mastermind behind the operation. After 1 year on the run, Faïd is captured. Again, and he goes straight back to prison. Whether you're invited to a talk show or heading out on a date, there are moments when you want to look your best.
There's two ads in one video.
Two inmates are taking.
There's two ads. How much do you think he gets paid for these ads? There's two sponsors in one video.
Taking out the trash, accompanied by a prison guard. Suddenly, they see a helicopter in the courtyard next to them. They wonder if it could be firefighters. The unarmed warden bolts into a nearby office, hiding behind bulletproof glass. Meanwhile, the two prisoners are about to witness Redouane Faïd's spectacular prison escape up close. One of the three men stays with Stéphane, the pilot, and continues to press a gun to his head. The other two jump out. They are masked and wearing bulletproof vests beneath their clothes. Each of them carries an AK-47. They have just landed in the honored courtyard. Prisoners do not have access here. It's only used when inmates enter or leave the facility. That's why nobody thought anti-helicopter cables were needed here. The man in green runs towards a reinforced white door. He carries an angle grinder.
So they just left an area with no helicopter cables.
With a 14-inch, 35-centimeter blade.
They could, bro. They couldn't put. How much are helicopter cables? Whoa, 1.5 million. Okay.
His partner sets off 3 smoke grenades, releasing thick white smoke.
Well, I guess the
helicopter's spinning blades turn it into a...
Wherever the government... Where is this in France? I guess the French government didn't really want to invest in the entire. This is supposed to be the most secure prison, by the way, so... Where the tax dollars going anyway.
A complete whiteout. The sound of the cutting angle screeches through the entire prison. Faïd knows what that means.
You think this is its emotion the whole time? It just... As it's getting broken out.
By now it's clear to everyone that nobody here is blowing leaves. The blade of the grinder slices through the locking doors. Clean, precise. 40 seconds is all it takes. The man in green can just push the door open and step inside. The guards slowly realize what's happening, but they're not carrying firearms and are unable to interfere. One of them sticks to protocol and calls the Civil Aviation Authority. They don't understand what's happening. Another calls the standard line for police emergencies and gets put on hold. A third contacts the local police, but the officer on the other end thinks it's a prank. The sentinels on the 4 watchtowers are the only ones carrying firearms, but they can't see the helicopter because their view is blocked by other buildings. And they're not allowed to fire at a flying aircraft
this is
anyway.
supposed to be the most secure prison, and this... Imagine whoever planned out this prison, right? They say we need the most secure prison for the worst prisoners. They cannot escape, and they just have areas where the helicopters can land. The people can't shoot down the flying helicopters, so the helicopter can just roam in the courtyard. They have people you can't even see where the helicopter would land because the watchtowers don't look over the whole prison, and they have people on the other line who think it's a prank. Like,
total, utter chaos. By now, Fayid's brother knows exactly what's going on. He's furious. He thought his brother was ready to change. And now this, another escape. He just can't help himself. Fayid's accomplice has already cut his way through several locks, and now he has reached the door to visiting room 50, where Redouane Fayid is waiting. The angle grinder slices through the metal. The door is open. Fayid has been waiting for this. He storms out and rushes down a long corridor, followed by the man in green. His brother is left behind, frozen and stunned.
so his brother
At 11:28 a.m.,
didn't know
Redouane
anything.
Fayid steps into the prison courtyard. 10 minutes after the helicopter got there, he sees the two inmates that have taken out the trash, brings his right hand to his temple, and gives them an Air Force salute. Then he climbs into the helicopter. Dozens of inmates stand pressed against the bars of their cells to watch. As the helicopter lifts off, the entire
That's
prison
crazy.
erupts
Imagine
into
watching
applause.
this in real life. Imagine this must be like this has to be the craziest thing you can ever witness in real life.
It's almost like a movie scene.
A French gangster who broke out of jail by hijacking a helicopter.
A notorious
earlier.
gangster is on the run
Criminal
again.
who is a big movie fan. He has broken out of prison twice
And
now.
you can just about make
What? Wait.
Criminal who is a big movie fan. He has broken out of prison twice
and
now.
you can
Is that the original audio?
He is on the run
Criminal
again.
who is a big
CBS, yeah.
movie fan.
Does
He
he
has
want to move
broken
his
out of
lips
prison
any,
twice
and you
now.
any
can
less?
just about make out the helicopter flying off into the
Help of
distance.
multiple armed men who hijacked a helicopter.
which picked up Redouane Fayid from within the prison grounds.
The news of Redouane Fayid's prison break spreads across the world. He was already famous, a TV figure, the center of a cult-like hype. But this is a whole new level. A well-known French actress writes on social media, "Bravo, Redouane Fayid. All of France is with you." The French police declare him the country's
All of France with you. He was involved in the killing of officers, and he's a known criminal.
most wanted man. 3 months later, the authorities track him down,
Oh, he
hiding
got
in an
caught.
apartment in his hometown, Cailles. He's been disguising himself under a burqa during public outings. When he finally
Under a
stands
burqa.
trial,
You know what this reminds me of? You know those Romanian immigrants in the UK? I don't think they have it in America. What am I gonna do after? I'm gonna go live on TikTok. But you know them Romanian immigrants in the UK that put on a hijab and like they pretend to be Muslim and they sit outside coffee shops like asking for money. That's what that reminds me of.
in 2020, authorities take extreme security measures, including a no-fly zone above the courthouse.
No fly zone.
The court cites a psychiatric assessment describing him as a social predator and gifted at manipulation. He uses his charm and intelligence to control others and get what he wants. Fayid himself says that for him, it was always about the adrenaline. He says he is addicted to it and calls himself a sick man. His Hollywood-style heists made headlines worldwide, but he also made his family suffer, traumatized hostages, and
Yeah.
caused the death of a 26-year-old police officer. Fayid stood 2 separate trials. For his heists, his role in Aurélien Fouquet's death, and his 2 escapes from prison. He was sentenced to a total of 39 years in jail.
Okay.
His lawyer says he's
39.
been held in solitary
Okay,
confinement.
realistically at this point, he should just get the death penalty, realistically. Because like he escaped twice.
Since
Also,
2019.
is this the world's
He's
craziest
strip
place
searched
escape?
up to 5 times a day at random intervals.
I don't know.
At least
I mean,
4
there's
guards
a-
escort him to each and every.
I don't know. Is this the world's craziest prison escape? For a prison that was lacking security, the guards were clearly unorganized. There was no netting in a whole part of a prison, and then people just came in with angle grinders You just broke him out, no problem. Is this the world's craziest prison escape? I don't know about that.
One of his phone calls, and even then his hands have to remain in shackles. Fayed himself says he feels like he's been buried alive. His earliest possible release date is 2060. He would be 88 years old by then.
Jonas David, Jonas Trump. Fan? Oh, it's not one guy doing it. Who does the voicing? Elmer. Okay. Okay, but that was the world's craziest prison escape. This hero event is inspired by films. They wouldn't find a single hair. You really got 2 sponsors in one video, yeah. Alright, W video. Alright. Alright. To the one viewer, I'm gonna go live on TikTok in a bit. I appreciate you for watching. I'll be live every day. But yeah, take care.